Hello everybody, it is Amar from ZenMaid. Thanks for tuning in and listening. I am just off a quick catch-up call with my friend Robin, who runs a lovely little SaaS called Many Requests. In case I have any agency owners that happen to be listening to this podcast, give that a look. We were just having a chat about churn and a couple of other topics, and it came up essentially on how we prioritize various features and how we approach things at ZenMaid. And so I had actually been giving that some thought, and essentially on this call was able to verbalize, I feel like, my first framework. I don't know if I'm going to trademark this the Dan Martell way or the Alex Hormozy way, but yes, we're going to call this the CRaMD framework for feature prioritization in SaaS. Of course, this is just one of the many ways that I think about our product and how to consider various suggestions that we get from customers, that we get from our team, ideas that pop into my ADHD brain, and etc. So CRaMD stands for conversion, retention, maintenance, and delight. Just, add in a couple of vowels there and you get the word crammed. You can, figure that out. You can think it through. If anyone has any better suggestions on an acronym there, please let me know. Maybe I'll workshop that a bit. So anyways, the 4 ways at ZenMaid that I think about features. Number 1 is conversion features. And so a conversion feature is, as it's named, it's anything that will help you to improve your conversions for your product. So the primary thing for this is really any feature that you can announce to your entire marketing list is going to be a conversion type feature. So that might be in ZenMaid, that could be anything from our new tip requests that we recently released to help our clients to effectively pay their cleaners more. It could be the new invoicing that's meant to increase conversion rates, right? It might be booking forms when we released those, where all of those were big announcements. They were big things to get the attention of the industry and to get more people to sign up for a trial of ZenMaid and to convert into paying customers. So that would be a conversion feature. I feel like most people, this is by default what they think that a feature is. So that's a little bit obvious. Number 2 is retention, a retention feature. So in my mind, these are when you get requests where you feel like we could build this, no one's really going to care, but our clients are asking for it, or the kind of request where you're not necessarily going to get credit for building it, but people will leave your software if you don't build it. So for example, in our industry, basic invoicing was essentially table stakes for the vast majority of our competitors. For whatever reason, ZenMaid didn't have invoicing to begin with. And so when we ended up having to build invoicing, we weren't essentially given much credit for that in the industry, because it was essentially like, oh great, ZenMaid caught up to what, my current software already does. But we had current users that were essentially threatening to leave or to go back to their old solution if we couldn't provide them a basic invoicing solution. So that would be an example of a retention feature. And so, essentially one of these, like a conversion feature, is meant to increase your conversion rate or your sign up rate. A retention feature is meant to lower your churn rate. Lots of things are going to fall into both of these categories. Maybe you can think of these two as like on a spectrum, but it's a helpful way to just think about how different options that you have in front of you might impact, your bottom line. For me, I find this helps me a lot in terms of just figuring out order of operations. So yeah. Number 3 on the list is maintenance. So maintenance is really just any work that you have to do in your software that you essentially just don't get credit for in the market for doing. It's, again, table stakes, right? The difference here is that it wouldn't be a feature. It's the kind of thing that no one will ever know until it goes wrong, until you don't do something that you're supposed to. So a perfect example of this would be ZenMaid is on Ruby on Rails. So every time that we have to upgrade our Ruby version, that is something that allows us to keep building building and developing, but there is no inherent value in us doing that work. It's completely invisible to our users, but if we don't do that, then eventually our users will notice that we can't release new features, that more bugs are being introduced, and all of that stuff. So that would be an example of essentially a maintenance, like maybe feature isn't the best way to be describing all these, but essentially development ops, right? So bugs would be another one. You get some credit for fixing bugs, but also you're expected to fix bugs. Okay, the last one, and this is the one that I think is the most fun, and that you guys can listen to the conversation between me and ZenMaid's designer, Jim, about delight. And so delight features is the fourth category. These are the kinds of things that you can only really focus on once you're doing the basics right. So with ZenMaid, we're honestly still towing that line. I still think there's a lot of basics and fundamentals that as a product we need to solve better, but we also have enough resources now, and also just the way that these things sometimes work is I can now allocate resources to doing little delightful things. An example of this is that for multiple major holidays every year, we have a tiny system that allows us to change our color scheme in ZenMaid, to change our logo, and to have a custom pop-up that our team can just write. And so when people sign on Halloween, for example, for 2 or 3 days, the entire software is orange and black and has little bats flying around, right? And that's the kind of thing some of our clients find it annoying, and we've built in a way to turn that off for them if they don't want that. But a lot of our customers absolutely love that, and it makes it fun for them and their teams to log into the software. And it's just a little way that we've found to make maid services lives, or maid service owners' lives and their teams' lives just a little bit more pleasant, just a little bit more delightful. Is somebody going to sign up for ZenMaid because we do those things? Absolutely not. Is somebody going to leave ZenMaid because we do or don't do those things? Absolutely not. You could very much argue that it actually has zero impact on our bottom line. But in my opinion, that's just personally, I think that those things matter, and I think that those things do impact the bottom line, contingent on the fact that you're doing the basics right. But to me, it's more important because A, it's fun. It allows my team to be creative. And I think that in terms of delivering delight, I've realized that honestly, that's a core value for us, right? That's a cultural thing of something that we're trying to do. And so delight is something that by definition has to be unexpected. It has to be a surprise. And we just really take pride in these little moments for our customers. So I think that pretty much wraps up. I don't know if that's helpful for you guys, but let me know if you've got any other ways of thinking about this. I know that, there's some similar frameworks talking about, essentially how impactful it's not the urgent versus important. I'm trying to think, I was going to say the Eisenhower matrix, but it's a different thing than that. Yeah, there's another mental model or framework that popped into my head while, talking here, that I was oh, it's quite similar to what I just outlined. So if you guys maybe know what that is, drop it into the comments or whatever, and let me know, because I'd love to see how other people have verbalized this and everything. So yeah, but anyways, in a nutshell, that is one of the many ways that I think about product development at ZenMaid. So I hope that that's helpful for you guys. Maybe helps you guys just communicate a little bit more clearly with your teams about maybe why or why not something is a good idea. And so yeah, let me know if that is helpful. And the types of features, once again, just to wrap this up and give this a proper conclusion, is number 1, you have conversion features. Number 2, you have retention features. Then you have maintenance work, bugs and upgrades, and etc. And then finally you have delight features. So I again hope that was helpful, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Thanks for tuning in.